Hi everyone, it's me Shugufta and welcome back to Python series with me. In last video we talk about the list. When we talk about the list has different types of variables like we have to store different types of variable in a list. So today topic is about tuple. Tuple is almost same as list as we have to collect different types of variables in a tuple. But the main difference in a list and a tuple is list is mutable, but the tuple is immutable. So the question arises is why I use tuple? When I do the same with the list and with more benefits, why we use? No, the answer is no. That's not the point. Sometimes you intentionally want things not to change. For example, like you want to create a constant which you don't want to change, even by mistake, and you are working on a complex program you want anyone not to change, even by mistake. In this case, we use tuple. So, tuple also gave an important role in Python. Okay, the first thing that we have to know is that how to write a tuple. For this, we have to define a variable called tup. And like if we have to recall from the previous lecture how we write a list, a square bracket to write a list. Like you see, this shows a square bracket shows about the list. But if you have to write a tuple, you have to use a round bracket to write a tuple. As we do, have to store a string like Ali and like an integer number and also a floating number. Okay, and let's see what happen if I print 2. Okay, let's see. So you see how easily we print our numbers because tuple is almost same as tuple, but the main thing is that we don't even change the tuple. Like in previous, we have used different type of function like append function. Like we have to change the list, like the collection of values, but in tuple we don't even change. Like similarly, if I use this example or another example or another set, like if I recall to variable, and here I use different collection like 23, 45, 67. Okay. And if I have to dot append 68 and print tube. So what's happened? So you see there is an error because tube objection has no attribute append function. They don't follow the append function. So if I have to change the brackets like the brackets to square bracket, like I make it a list, not a tuple. So see what's happened if I run this. So you see how easily it's print. So these functions that we use in like a list, all the inbuilt functions that don't even depend, that don't follow the tuple because the main thing in the tuple is that it's immutable. Okay, the other thing that I have to type is about if I have to know the type of a tuple. Like similarly, if I take an example, if I have to print the type of tuple. Okay. And then I also type I see the tuples collection. So what's happened? So you see the class is tuple. Okay, if I have to write one integer number in tuple variable, so let's see what's its type. If I have to print like 1, and if I have to know what's the type of this variable, comma, 2. So let's see what's happened. So you see, I use the same brackets in both cases, but the type is changed from tuple to an integer. What's happened? Because in Python, by default, they can't accept a tuple. They accept it as a integer type. So what we do now? If I have a constant one in and we have and I want to not even change, I have to remain. It's immutable. So what we do in tuple case? We have, if I apply a comma and then if I run this program, so you see the type of the class of the tube is changed from integer to tuple. So do remember one thing, if you work in tuple and if you have only one integer, one floating number or a one string and you want it immutable, don't even change. So you use comma at the last. That's the Python understand you about the tuple. If you don't apply a comma at the last and only write a number, a string, or a floating number in these brackets, so Python understand it as an integer type or a string type. So it's important point. So if we move forward to the next thing, in tuple we do indexing like same as we do in the list. Like tuple also understand about the listing, I have to find the number, the index number. So tuple understand, I do a mini example for you. Here I do 23, 45, 67. And so if we do, if we have to find the index value, we use to, and for the indexing we use square bracket, and here I write I have to find the index value 2. Okay, so let's see what's the answer. So our answer is 67 because in Python we start the index value from 0. So 23 is the 0 position, 45 is 1 position, and 67 is 2 position. So that's why our answer is 67. But if we have used the index value negative, what's our answer? Let's see. If I use the same above example and here I use tuple value to find -3. So what's the answer? So you see the answer is 23. It's because if you have a negative value of something, how can you solve this? You can solve this by subtracting the total number of values with that number. Like in this case, we have total number of value is 3. So we have to subtract them with -3. So 3 minus 3, so our answer is 0. So we have to write the tuple -3 position, the index value is 0. So here the position index 0 is 23. That's why we write 23. Okay, if I have to use here +3, what's the answer? So you see there is an error like the tuple index out of range because in positive here the it's out of range because tuple here we start from 0 0 1 2 not 3 value, but for the negative we have to subtract and solve it so that 3 minus 3 equal to 0 and here 0 is present in the tuple. That's why we use this. So the indexing is same as we do in the list. From in this video, we learned about the tuple and the difference between a tuple and a list in Python. In the next video, we move to the one step ahead, that's set, and explore the difference between list, tuple, and the sets. And so you can clearly understand when to use a tuple, when to use a set, and when to use a list. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe our channel so you don't miss the upcoming lesson.